Hey guys, this is UBR Tech, back with another video. Today's video is going to be the review of the Springfield Hellcat. Before I get started, I'd like to give a big thanks to Gun Prime for sending out the Hellcat. If it wasn't for Gun Prime, this video would not be possible. Show some support and check out their channel, links in the description. Now let's get back to the video. Before I get started with the review, I just want to make sure everybody knows that all these reviews are subjective. Everybody's opinion is going to vary from person to person. So this is just my opinion about the Hellcat. So we're going to go front to back and we're going to go over all the features of the firearm. First thing we're going to do is make sure we're clear. And we are. Let's start with the barrel. The barrel is a hammer forged barrel and it is capable of taking +P ammo. The next thing is the standoff device right here, and that standoff device is for close combat. So basically what this standoff device is for is so this way there's less chances of this slide coming out of battery like that. So when the slide is out of battery, you can't fire the firearm. Let's say you're pushing like this and you tilt the firearm up, you could see that the slide still comes out of battery. So what you would have to do is you would have to make sure that you're like kind of pushing down and not angling up. It's still not a perfect system, but it's nice that they added that. Next, what we have here is the rail that they added, and it's a standard 1913 rail, which is great because sometimes manufacturers will add a proprietary rail, which makes it harder to get certain accessories for the firearm. Next, we have the slide serrations, and these slide serrations aren't that great. They're just okay. They start a little bit deeper at the top and then fade off as you go down here. I wish they were deeper so this way you can get a better grip on the slide. The next thing I want to talk about is the tritium sights. This sight picture for me and my father, because he went and shot it with me, we both really like that sight picture, that U-dot sight picture. For some reason, just it feels really nice while we're on the sights. So this red dot obviously comes off, and they included a steel red dot plate, which is nice. It's not plastic, so that was a nice little plus. Next we have the loaded chamber indicator. I wish they added something where you could feel. So if let's say you're in total darkness, you could just feel, let's say, something that's pushed up a little bit and you could feel that there's a round in the chamber. And next we have the flat trigger. I think this is a big plus, and the reason why I think it's a big plus is because I'm a big fan of the flat trigger. Having this flat trigger standard is really nice. While we're on the trigger, let's talk about the brake, and I can honestly say the brake is, it's nice. It's got a nice crisp brake. There's some lead up, you hit a wall, and you get a nice crisp brake. Let's do that one more time. It's a nice brake. There's the reset. There you go. I like it. It's a little bit different than what I'm used to, but again, you get used to pretty much anything as long as you're training with it. Let's do the weight of the trigger. .44. .312. 314. The average is about 315. So one more thing to note is that the field stripping process for the Hellcat, you will have to pull the trigger. That's not a big deal, but I know some people really don't like that. As long as you are following all the rules, like making sure that the firearm is clear and stuff like that, then that shouldn't be an issue. Another tip, how I do things, if I'm going to dry fire or clean it, what I do is keep the ammo in a completely different room, so this way there's no accidental mishaps with getting ammo into the firearm. So next we have the mag release. I don't mind this. I don't really usually have issues with mag releases, but the other thing to note about the mag release is that it's reversible to the other side. So next is the adaptive grip texture that they, this is what they're calling it. I like it. It feels good in hand. It's not too grippy or rough to catch onto your clothes or rip holes in your clothes. So that's a plus. But when you do hold it, it feels pretty good in your hand. I do like that they added more texture up here and here. and they didn't just do the grip right here. Definitely like the way it feels. It feels really good. And while we're talking about that, we might as well talk about the ergos as far as like how the grip feels in your hand. And I do like it because it is a little bit wider here than my normal carry. So my normal carry is a 365, and my 365 is just slightly like thinner this way, and this just feels it feels better, especially when you have the 13 round mag. It really does feel good. Now, the other thing I have to mention is that when my father and I went to go shoot this, the trigger guard right here was digging into his knuckle right there. Now, I didn't have that issue, but he said as he was firing it, it just kept digging into his knuckle. This is going to vary by person. And like I said, I didn't have that issue, but he did. It's just something to note. And the next thing, I guess, we'll talk about the magazines that they give you. The Hellcat comes with an 11 round mag and a 13 round mag. The 11 round mag has the little pinky extension, and the 13 round mag has a bigger pinky extension. They're nice mags. I mean, they're also not as expensive as some other ones. So what's really nice here is that they give you the 13 rounder in the box along with an 11 round mag. It's definitely a plus. So next, let's talk about the size. So I'm going to measure from the iron sights to the bottom without the magazine, because obviously depending on which one you use, it's going to be different. So this is 4.2, and then let's do the length. I'm going from where the standoff and the barrel stick out to the beaver tail, and you can see it's 6.0. Next, let's do the width. I'm going to do width in two different locations. So I think the thickest part is going to be here where my fingers are, my thumb and my other finger. I'm going to measure from here, and I'm also going to measure the thickness of the grip, because to me, I just think like it's good to notate both of those things. So it is 1 inch, slightly over 1 inch, and then same thing for the grip. The grip is, yeah, about 1 inch. Let's see what the weight is of this thing. So keep in mind I have the red dot here, but this is made out of plastic, and the piece that replaces it is a steel plate. So it might be a wash. It just might be the same weight no matter what. So we have 15.8. 15.8 is not bad. So next I'm going to talk about the experience at the range with the Hellcat. So my father and I went to the range. We were shooting the Hellcat, and we had to get used to how snappy it was. It was so snappy that even bench resting it to sight in the red dot, it took a few rounds to get used to how snappy it was. And then eventually we started to get better at managing the recoil. By the time we were ready to leave, you could see our groups were getting really good. Obviously, if you get some range time with this thing, that you will be able to manage the recoil, and obviously you could see that you can be accurate with it. My father felt the same way. He said that it did feel a lot snappier than my other micro carry, which is the P365, and something that you get used to. The other thing, I already mentioned it earlier in the review, but the trigger guard was hurting my father's knuckle as he shot it. It did not hurt mine, so I think it's going to vary from person to person. As we were talking about the grip and stuff, it does feel good in hand while you're shooting. So again, while at the range, I've only put a couple 100 rounds through this thing, but no jams, no issues at all. Everything seemed to function properly. No issues there either. All right, guys. With all that being said, here's how the Springfield Hellcat scored. How it feels to shoot. It was a little too snappy in my opinion, so it scored a 6. The trigger had a really nice break, and also wasn't too heavy of a trigger pull, so that scored an 8. Ammo capacity, it came with a 13 and 11 round mag, so that scored a 9. Size and weight, the size was good because it's still easy to conceal and it wasn't too heavy, so that scored an 8. Ergonomics, the grip felt like it filled your hand really well and also had a nice amount of texture so it didn't slip around while you were shooting, so that scored a 9. Option and features, they made 3 versions of this Hellcat, so you could purchase whatever one fits you the best. As far as features, it came with plenty. Standoff device, flat trigger, tritium U-dot sights, just to name a few, and that scored an 8. So the final score being a 7.2, it's obvious that you can't go wrong picking up a Hellcat. So I'd like to say thanks again to Gun Prime for sending out the Hellcat. If they didn't send this out for a review, then this video would not be possible. So thanks again, Gun Prime. If you thought the video was helpful, please give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Every subscriber helps my channel grow. Thanks for watching my videos, and I'll see you in the next one.